The Kolbrin Bible, Book of Morals and Precepts, Chapter 60, Secrets of Womanhood. O daughters of men, forget not your ancient heritage of mystery granted unto you in the days of old, when you were the light of mankind. Was earth then afflicted under your sway? And did men then degrade themselves and strive one with another? The age of benevolent mother rule has departed, and little remains of woman's former glory. But remember that the fall of woman and the woes of men were brought about by the wiles and weaknesses of woman. My daughters, remember your attributes and consider your estate. You can either be the instruments of good to inspire man to great heights of achievement, or be the instruments of evil to degrade him and bring his manhood into disrepute. The woman who says, "I will be no man's unless he be a real man," is a maker of real men and serves the purpose of God. For the charm and mystery that are the gifts of life to woman, were ordained to create a desire and longing in men, and their purpose is to inspire men to reach above and beyond themselves, that they might obtain and possess a treasure so precious. Therefore, O daughters of beauty, value yourselves highly, for she who gives herself cheaply inspires no man. For it is the nature of man that he treasure that which is hard to obtain. Man values the scarce gold, not the plentiful marble. She who comes easily to man regards lightly. He regards lightly. It is the law that man values only that for which he strives and suffers. Reveal not your womanly charms and secret attractions. Is not the moon more beautiful when shining through a cloud? For then its loveliness is enhanced with mystery. Woman was given a body to reproduce sons, and grace and beauty to inspire them to godlikeness. The spirit of man is inspired and raised up by the love of his mother and the love of his wife. There will be no greater influence in his life than woman love. A graceful woman is ever clothed in mystery. A good woman will always make earth a better place for her presence. Beauty of face and form are passing things, but the real beauty of womanhood lies beneath these externals. Seek it out and develop it, for it will be much more enduring. Consider not the beauty of the body, for it is here today and tomorrow departs forever. Concentration on outward appearances displays a shallow spirit to the eyes of men. Beauty of face and form may or may not be yours, according to the dispensations of fate, but whatever you have must be accepted with gratitude or resignation. What you have been given, little can be done to change, but it is not the most important part of your being. There is that within you which is yours to fashion as you wish. It can be of a beauty indescribable, transcending anything on earth. Therefore, give due thought to the pliable soul within you, for it is yours forever. It can be a thing of loveliness or repulsion, according to your own decree. The law which is beyond your understanding has decreed the mold of your body. It is fixed, unchangeable, not of your soul, for here you alone are responsible for its appearance. Remember that every thought and deed is a thread in the pattern of the fabric. Think well. Will the result be a thing of beauty or of ugliness? Let prudence rule your heart, and be reserved in all that you do. Remember the womanly virtues of modesty, simplicity, compassion, gentleness, tenderness, and grace. Cast not the treasures of your womanhood into the mud, where they will be trampled underfoot by contemptuous men. In the spring days of womanhood, when the promise of loveliness is fulfilled and the warm blood stirs within you, the eyes of men will turn in your direction with meaning, and nature will interpret their glances. Then is the time to give heed to the whispered counsel of prudence, and place a guard upon your heart. Now is the time when it is ripe for assault. Let it not yield except to one. Heed not the false words of seduction and the alluring promises, which fall from the glib tongues of fornicators. The words of seducing men are sweeter than honey, but if you partake of the illicit pleasures offered, they turn to the bitter gall of disillusionment. The seducer has his purpose. He tests you for worthiness as a wife. Woman was meant to be the helpmate and companion of man, his inspiration and joy, not the slave to his desires and the servant of his passions. Are you no more than the receptacle wherein he satisfies and dissipates his uncontrolled urges? Or are you the goddess of his heart, whose tender touch can soothe the turmoil, which tears his body, who evokes within him the gentle passions of affection and consideration, whose soft endearments are sufficient to strengthen him, sufficiently to stifle the struggle within? She who is the first of these takes the easy path, but the second is 10 times her better, and a worthy wife for any man. Discuss not the ways of the harlot or wanton woman in the hearing of others, lest they say her interest betrays her inclinations. Never associate with such as these, for they pollute by their presence. The harlot never repents, and when she reforms, becomes a procuress. Seek not to emulate the ways of men, lest you sacrifice the charms of womanhood. Men admire and desire the womanly things in women and the manly things in men. Women attract by their reserve, not by their boldness. They conquer by their submissiveness, not by their attack. They hold by their weakness, not by their strength, and they attract by their modesty, not by their forwardness. If seeking a weakling for a husband, you may sacrifice some of your womanliness, for what you lack he will supply. Beware the power of your charms and belittle them not, for while lesser men are slightly moved by womanly charms, to greater men they are as a whirlwind in the wilderness. Therefore, in the hands of a wanton woman, the grace and charm of womanhood are as poison in the possession of one who is mad. As man has a duty to life, so has woman, and hers is to uphold the prestige of love. Thus it is that, though her heart may be moved with compassion, she castigates her wanton sister. Here, harshness serves life better than sympathy and compassion. Know that there can be no greater joy on earth than that found by man and woman in the sacred union of wedded love. The greatest inspiration of life is the pure and lovely flame of true love. The temple of hallowed love is in the heart of a chaste maiden or faithful wife, and all men secretly worship there. There is no greater incentive to bring out the best in a man than the true love of a good woman. If you would ennoble life, then weave a mantle of love around your chosen maid. My daughters, beauty is the heritage of all women. Think not only of the beauty of face and form, for this passes with the rise and fall of the waters. Turn your thoughts to the greater loveliness of the Spirit, to the radiance enshrined within, the thinking heart and the beating heart. This is the true heritage of woman. Whatever her external appearance, what is beauty where tenderness and affection are lacking? Men will run after a beautiful face, but away from a willful heart. A beautiful woman is beautiful to herself. The admiration of men adds nothing to her beauty. Womanly virtue maintains the blossom of youth and brings contentment to the heart. Thus is the face kept smooth in beauty. Nothing exalts the heart of a man as much as purity in the woman of his choice. Nothing can stimulate his manhood as much as her modesty and reserve. Nothing troubles his thoughts or arouses his curiosity as much as her silence. Let not your future husband's hopes or of your chastity be in vain. Mock not the faith of a man and woman, for man requires such faith, and if he be a real man, he will believe the best of woman. The seducer and fornicator alone look down on women, for they have seen many at their feet. O glorious and prudent maiden, who will someday rule as queen of heart and home, keep the pure flame of love secure within the sanctuary of chastity. This love asks, above all, that love may be hallowed. Though chastity remains the greatest weapon for good in the armory of womanhood, like all things on earth it can be used otherwise. Chastity of itself alone would be of no value unless it served a positive purpose for good. Futile frustrations are the opposite of good, but chastity is not numbered among these. Chastity hallows and expresses the sanctity and glory of true love, and bestows on the loved one the honor and bliss of an undefiled and uncheapened marriage. Chastity is not the suppression of feeling and the refuge of the unaffectionate. It is the homage paid to the sanctity of a woman's body and the evaluating tribute paid to true love. Our fathers and our fathers' fathers, even in the days before Mina and Pontus, expected and respected chastity in woman. Not in all women, for this is not the nature of men. A man seeks it only in one special woman, his wife. Thus man divides the women in his life in twain, his wife and mother, and other women. No man concerns himself with virtue in the wives of other men, only in his own. Virtue in other women may be unimportant. Which would you be, a wife, the delight of a man's life, or the other unimportant woman? Chastity is the glorious crown of maidenhood. It is the symbol of dedication to the glorification of love. It is honored and respected by all men. A husband trusts a chaste wife and speaks of her proudly among men. When men discuss women, after the manner of men, the husband of the unchaste woman tries to avoid their looks. Their talk cuts his heart. The unchaste woman is a topic of ribaldry among men, but let a man discuss a chaste woman lightly, and there are hard words spoken. In the company of men, does not the chest of the chaste woman's husband swell out before him? Is he not proud of his exclusive treasure? The heart of the deceived man and fool shrinks within him when men speak among themselves, for he feels humiliated and uncertain of his place among men. What he has is cheap, and the subject of crude jokes among them. Act in all ways befitting a woman. Be modest and reserved, for eagerness does not become a woman. Never go unto a man unbidden, but await his call or a woman messenger. It is unseemly for a man to summon a woman by a man. To women go the things of women. Therefore turn your hearts and hands towards the inclinations of womankind. Cherish and comfort your children. Attend diligently to the affairs of the household. Support and sustain your husband through his trials and troubles. The drinks of women are sweet, but she may sip a heady or bitter one without loss of decorum, though she may not drink it as does a man. Only the common woman will drink the drink of men, or drink as a man. A woman who safeguards her reputation in public, but is shameless in private, is a hypocrite. She is a deceiver who will drag a man down to sorrow. My daughters, these are not words of wisdom alone. They draw aside the veil to reveal the inner hearts of men. Let your own heart weigh them in the scales. It will commend them to you. If a man deride them, then he is not inclined to your welfare, nor does he see in you a future wife. If you say within yourself, "These things are of little importance to me," you may speak truth, for you are unworthy. The crocodile revels in mud and disdains silk. The womanly virtues are not evaluated in your eyes, but in the scales of spiritual eternity. That which spiritualizes life, that enhances love, that inspires mankind and sanctifies the relationship between man and woman, that is good in the eyes of God. You may ignore the well-being of your soul if you so desire. Its fate is yours to decide. She who sanctifies womanhood garbs her soul in eternal radiance.